If your answer to "tell me about yourself" sounds like a short autobiography, you may be losing the interview before the real questions even start. The interviewer is not asking for your life story. They are testing whether you can explain your fit for this job clearly, quickly, and without making them do all the work. This question feels casual, but it is one of the highest leverage moments in the interview. It often comes first, which means it sets the frame for everything that follows. A strong answer can make the interviewer listen for evidence that confirms you are a fit. A weak answer can make them wonder why you applied. The best answer is not a memorized speech. It is a short professional summary built for the specific role. Think of it as the headline for your interview, not the whole article, just the headline that tells the interviewer what to pay attention to. Most candidates go wrong in one of three ways. They start too personally. They say where they were born, where they went to school, and what they like to do on weekends. Or they recite their resume from the beginning, job by job, until the interviewer mentally checks out. Or they give a vague personality answer like, "I am hardworking, passionate, and a fast learner." None of those answers are terrible because the person is unqualified. They are weak because they do not help the interviewer answer the real question, which is, can this person do the job we are hiring for? A better answer has three parts. First, name your professional identity in relation to the role. Second, give proof that you have done relevant work. Third, connect your background to why this role makes sense now. That is the whole formula: identity, proof, and bridge. Let's make that practical. Part 1 is your professional identity. This is not your job title only. It is the kind of problem you solve. If you are applying for a customer success role, do not open with, "I graduated in 2020 and my first job was in retail." Open with, "I have a background in customer-facing roles where I help people solve problems, stay organized, and follow through after the first conversation." That tells the interviewer what lens to use. You are not just a person with retail experience. You are someone with customer communication, problem solving, and follow through. If you are applying for a data analyst role, you might say, "I am an early career data analyst who enjoys turning messy information into clear reports that help teams make decisions." That is stronger than, "I studied statistics and then took a few online courses." The second version lists activities. The first version explains value. Part 2 is proof. Proof means one or two specific pieces of evidence. Not 10, not your whole resume. One or two examples that match the job description. For example, a weak version sounds like this: "I have experience with Excel, communication, teamwork, and problem solving, and I am very motivated to learn." That is not useless, but it is generic. Almost every candidate can say it. A stronger version sounds like this: "In my last role, I tracked weekly service requests, found the most common delays, and created a simple spreadsheet that helped the team follow up faster. I also work directly with customers, so I am comfortable explaining next steps and calming people down when something has gone wrong." Notice the difference. The stronger version gives the interviewer something to believe. It shows what you did, how you worked, and why it matters for the job. Part 3 is the bridge. The bridge explains why this job, why this company, or why this move makes sense. This is where many candidates accidentally sound random. They say, "I saw the posting and thought it looked interesting." That may be true, but it does not create confidence. A better bridge sounds like this: "That is why this operations coordinator role stood out to me. It combines the customer communication I already have with the process improvement work I want to keep doing." That sentence does a lot. It shows that you understand the role. It connects your past to the employer's needs. It also gives a simple reason for your interest. If you are finding this useful, subscribe for more calm, practical job search help. The goal here is simple: better resumes, better interviews, and fewer generic answers that make qualified people look unclear. Now let's put the formula together in a full answer. Imagine the role is project coordinator. A weak answer might sound like this: "I am originally from Ohio and I went to college for communications. After that, I worked in a few different jobs, mostly admin and customer service. I am very organized and I like working with people. I am looking for a place where I can grow and learn more about project management." This answer is pleasant, but it has two problems. It is too general, and it makes the interviewer translate the experience into relevance. The candidate may actually be a good fit, but the answer does not prove it. Here is a stronger version: "I have a background in administrative and customer-facing roles where I have been responsible for keeping details organized, following up with different people, and making sure deadlines do not slip. In my current role, I manage scheduling changes, track open requests, and coordinate updates between customers and internal teams. I have found that I enjoy the project side of the work most, especially turning a messy situation into a clear next step. That is why this project coordinator role stood out to me. It would let me use the coordination skills I already have while building deeper experience managing timelines, stakeholders, and deliverables." That answer is not flashy, it is clear. It gives the interviewer a job-related identity, specific proof, and a reason the role makes sense. The best length is usually around 60 to 90 seconds. If the interviewer wants more, they will ask. Your goal is not to answer every possible question in the opener. Your goal is to create useful entry points for the rest of the interview. This is also why you should not memorize a word-for-word script. Memorized answers often sound stiff, and if the interviewer interrupts, the candidate gets lost. Instead, memorize the structure and a few key phrases. A simple structure could sound like this. I am someone who does this kind of work. Here are 1 or 2 examples that prove it. That is why I am interested in this role. You can adapt that structure to almost any background. If you are changing careers, the question is even more important. The interviewer may be wondering if your experience transfers. Do not hide the change. Explain the connection. For example, a weak career change answer sounds like this. I have been teaching for 6 years, but I am ready for something new. I have always been interested in instructional design, so I am hoping to make a transition. That answer explains desire, but not fit. A stronger version sounds like this. I have spent the last 6 years as a teacher designing lessons, explaining complex information, and adjusting material based on how learners respond. Over time, I became especially interested in the design side of the work, including how people learn, how content is structured, and how to make training easier to apply. I recently built a small portfolio with sample learning modules, and I am now looking for an instructional design role where I can combine my classroom experience with more formal training design work. This answer does not apologize for the career change. It translates the old career into the new employer's language. If you have a gap, you can still use the same formula. You do not need to over-explain the gap in the opening unless it is central to your story. Focus first on fit. For example, you might say, I have a background in office administration, especially scheduling, vendor communication, and keeping records accurate. Before my career break, I supported a team of 12 and handled calendar changes, expense documentation, and client follow-up. I am now returning to full-time work and looking for a role where strong organization and steady communication are important every day. That is enough for the opener. If they ask more about the gap, you can answer directly later. If you are a recent graduate, avoid making your answer only about school. The interviewer needs to hear how your experience connects to work. A weak version sounds like this. I recently graduated with a degree in marketing. I took classes in social media, branding, and consumer behavior. I am excited to start my career and learn from a great team. A stronger version sounds like this. I recently graduated with a marketing degree, and most of my hands-on experience has been around content planning, research, and campaign support. For a class project, I helped build a basic content calendar, wrote sample posts for different audiences, and used engagement results to recommend changes. I am looking for an entry-level marketing role where I can support campaign execution, learn from experienced marketers, and keep building practical experience. Again, the stronger version does not claim to be an expert. It shows useful early proof. Now let's talk about adapting your answer to the role, because this is where good candidates separate themselves. Before the interview, read the job description and look for the repeated needs. Not every bullet matters equally. If the posting mentions stakeholder communication, reporting, deadlines, and process improvement, your answer should not focus mainly on how creative you are. It should highlight communication, reporting, deadlines, and improvement. You are not changing your identity dishonestly. You are choosing the most relevant parts of your background. Think of your experience like a closet. You own many outfits, but you do not wear all of them to the same event. The interview answer is the outfit you choose for this role. It should fit the room. For a recruiter screen, keep the answer tighter. Recruiters often need to confirm alignment quickly. Give them your role fit, your core experience, and what you are targeting next. For a hiring manager, you can add a little more proof about the actual work. Hiring managers listen for whether you understand the problems of the job. For a panel interview, make the answer simple enough that everyone in the room can follow it. Do not bury the main point under technical detail. There are also a few things to avoid. Do not start with personal details unless they clearly support the role. Do not say, I do not really know where to start. Do not apologize for your background. Do not say, as you can see on my resume, and then read the resume out loud. And do not end weakly with, so yeah, that is pretty much me. End with a confident bridge, something like, that is what made this role interesting to me. Or, that is the kind of work I am hoping to do more of here. Or, that is why I thought my background could be a strong match for this team. Here is the final checklist. Keep it professional. Keep it relevant. Keep it under 90 seconds when possible. Start with the kind of work you do. Prove it with 1 or 2 examples. Then connect it to the role in front of you. The best answer to tell me about yourself is not the most impressive answer. It is the clearest one. It helps the interviewer understand what you do, where you have proof, and why this conversation makes sense. Before your next interview, write a rough version using the 3 parts: identity, proof, and bridge. Then practice it out loud until it sounds like a real person speaking, not a paragraph being recited. If you want, leave your target role in the comments and ask a question about your own "tell me about yourself" answer. You can also suggest the next job search topic you want explained.